Good morning. It's Saturday, June 17th. I'm Philip Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures, right around 6 a.m. Central. Just want to give you that weekend recap here and also the outlook on the precious metals here with a quick weekend edition Precious Metals Minute. So looking at precious metals last week, we were essentially unchanged to slightly higher. I thought it was quite supportive with the price action given all the volatility events that occurred, the way the Fed played out, and all the economic data that also was leaked out. So looking at gold down about 0.3%, 1970 last. Silver down about 0.5%, 24.27. Nice recovery on both of those metals here, especially after some washouts. Copper, the best performer, up 2.3% at 388. Platinum down 2.5%, 987. So copper was really the leader, and it was some of the action that was put out by China, some of the stimulus type of measures that they took, and it looks like they're going to continue down that path, try and support their economy. That's why copper looks like it's going to flip, if you look on the charts, back to more of a neutral to bullish trend. Now, the dollar index lost 1.5%. I think that's what really ultimately came out and supported the precious metals markets. You saw Wednesday the inflation data come out. It was relatively muted here. It led a little bit of support to the metals, and then the FOMC, they pivoted. However, it was the dot plot that shows two more possible interest rate hikes by the end of the year, two more 25 basis point ones. So that's what put some pressure on the metals and kind of left them on their back heels right near support coming into that after hour on Wednesday. Then it seemed like it was kind of a hit job on gold and silver with a thinly traded market. Silver was down 70, almost 80 cents at one point. Coming in a Thursday morning, though, the ECB, they unexpectedly raised rates, were very hawkish. That kind of put a knife, it was a dagger in the side of the dollar. The dollar started to bleed out. The euro currency caught a bid here, and then it was a 1-2 punch with jobless claims, cycling up 261 versus 242. So the job market, the labor market is weakening, especially on the claims front, which is usually a leading economic indicator for some of the other reports. And that's what got the precious metals going. Now, Friday, we should have been a bit more supportive on precious metals, but you had Fed Governor Christopher Wallen. He kind of threw some cold water on the fire there that we had going in. He urges more tightening, so he's a little bit more hawkish, and that puts a little bit of pressure on those metals. But looking at the commitment of traders report on the gold market, you had gold longs, they reduced by 93,000 contracts. So it was kind of a big reduction, and it was going into the Fed decision. That's when they started to really reduce quite a bit, shown in the price action. Copper and silver saw significant increases. Copper flipped from a negative back up to a positive, and then platinum got some liquidation, especially crossing below that 1,000 mark. You continue to see funds not see much performance. Remember, we come into a seasonal weakness on the platinum market. However, I think that weakness ends up turning into strength. So I think it's just going to cycle and play its way out. So looking at next week, I really think the bulls have the edge here. You don't have a lot of economic data coming out. You don't have many Fed speakers. You just don't have a lot of things that could come in and interrupt this market at the moment. Perhaps some weakness in the U.S. equities. If they got topping action, you might see a risk-off sentiment here, and it might take down some of these markets. But other than that, inflation's been stabilizing. You got the Fed pivot behind us. So looking at some of the numbers here, I think gold, I wouldn't necessarily take that big washout down in the 1940s as your support. I think I'd keep it ratcheted up, keep it tight right around 1950. Look at 1985 as your first resistance point, then 2000, 2008, and then it could start looking at challenging those all-time highs. Silver, it's got some work to do. It's got that May 11th sell-off that was like $1.30. We got to retrace back up to there, get north of 25, 26, and then we can start going. I'm going to keep an eye on some of the call options going farther out. Any kind of weakness, you're going to want to look at adding on the silver market. Same thing on copper. Many people took profits on the copper this week, up around 388 to 392 on the December basis. We'll look at going back in right around 382 on down to about 374. Use those micro contracts. Other outside markets, grains, they were on fire. The weather patterns completely missed. They were too far north, too far south, a lot of dryness there in the fields. You saw massive fund covering there. The funds, they tend to go real slow at covering, and then they go all at once. So that was kind of some wild action there. I think we're going to have another good week. I think we're going to have a lot of good opportunities to put quite a few positions on here for clients. If you haven't taken a 2-week trial of the Morning Express, check out that research report. I got a link in the description below. to register for a free 2-week trial. And remember to like and subscribe to this video, help us grow out this channel. You got any questions, futures, commodity trade, give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.